The first time I did it, like 10 years ago, the sort of press, particularly the industry press in America, was like, why is he saying these awful things to the most beautiful people? You know, and then by the fifth time, right, they were going, good, give it to him, we're sick of celebrities.
There's a claim circulating right now that the Epstein files reveal Ellen DeGeneres as, and I'm quoting this directly from the posts, Hollywood's most prolific cannibal, that she consumed human flesh.
Guess what? Pizza's here.
Hello.
Come on down. I lied. We weren't going backstage.
Ellen DeGeneres is named in the Epstein documents, and that part is real. Her name appears in the broader index of over 300 high-profile individuals that show up across the investigative materials.
Spoiler alert, season 2 is on the way, so in the end, he obviously didn't himself. Just like Jeffrey Epstein. Shut up! I know he's your friend, but I don't care.
While that line was said live on national television, inside a room packed with some of the most powerful people in Hollywood, and not one person laughed comfortably. The smiles faded, the energy shifted, and for a brief moment, the entire room looked exposed.
Shining a light on something they don't want shined on.
He spent years repeating the same warning. Hollywood called him crazy. They blacklisted him more than once. Studio executives quietly passed the message around town. If you work with him, your career is finished.
We would handing that person, here you go, you can do whatever you want. No, it doesn't work that in the industry. We've come to a very, very dark place.
A very, very dark place. That was the man who once played Jesus on television, trying to tell the world what was really happening behind the curtain. While the media mocked him for speaking out, and while Ricky Gervais kept firing warning, shots from the Golden Globe stage, one of the most powerful women in daytime television was quietly building an empire around the phrase, "Be kind." Then the Department of Justice released millions of pages connected to the Epstein investigation. Her name appeared in the records. Suddenly, every warning Ricky Gervais had ever made started sounding very different. But almost nobody is connecting the dots before we get to Ellen DeGeneres, before we talk about the documents, and before we discuss the powerful friendships connected. To people now sitting in federal prison, you first need to understand the room where all of this unfolded. Every January, Hollywood gathers for the Golden Globe Awards. The biggest actors, the richest producers, and the studio executives who decide whose career survives and whose career disappears all sit together at round tables, drinking champagne and pretending to laugh at themselves just enough to look humble. For the cameras, that is the real performance. And for years, the producers of the show kept inviting one man back to host it all. A British comedian who did not care about protecting Hollywood's feelings. A man with nothing left to lose by telling powerful people exactly what they did not want to hear.
Not only are we not furious, most of us, we don't care, we wouldn't have even known about it if you hadn't have found it and printed it and told us we're furious. So it's just this vicious cycle. But no, I don't care. And likewise, I know people are allowed to be offended by things I've said. That's up to them. That's the good thing about freedom of speech. I can say what I want. You can say you're offended. I can care or not.
Who was his real audience? Not the celebrities sitting in the ballroom, not the producers, not the nervous publicists staring down at their tables trying not to react. His audience was the 200 million people watching from home, the ordinary viewers, who had no idea what really happened behind Hollywood's closed doors. The people who were never invited to the private parties, the people who never signed the secret agreements, the people who never saw what happened once the cameras stopped. Rolling, and year after year, Ricky Gervais walked onto that stage and gave those viewers a tiny crack in the wall. Just enough for them to glimpse what the people inside that room were truly like. Go back and watch those moments carefully. Watch the expressions in the crowd. Watch the cameras quickly cut away. Watch producers suddenly stop eating. Watch actors freeze in their seats, because it was never just a joke. That was a reference. That was a warning. That was a direct shot at names, flights, and connections that every person in that room immediately understood. And every single person there knew exactly. which plane he was talking about.
I didn't go out there and break the law. It wasn't mental. Everything was justified. I researched those jokes. I made sure it was fair. I wouldn't say anything to go, well, that's not fair. He didn't do that. I'd go, only tell the truth. I didn't out anyone. I didn't do anything it was not in public. I didn't do anything that was something they couldn't help. It was about their behaviors.
Yeah.
I know he's your friend. He never even had to say a name because the most powerful people in that room already understood the message. They had all seen the guest lists, the flight logs, the private dinners, and the exclusive parties. More importantly, they knew exactly who else had been there with them. That is why nobody laughed. People do not laugh at warning shots. They sit perfectly still and pray the next bullet is not aimed at them. Now enter the second man who tried to warn people about what he believed was happening behind the scenes. Jim Caviezel. Jim Caviezel is not some random internet personality or conspiracy podcaster. He is the actor personally chosen by Mel Gibson to play Jesus Christ in The Passion of the Christ, a movie that earned more than $600 million worldwide and became one of the highest-grossing independent films ever made. After that success, Caviezel seemed to have everything: fame, respect, major opportunities, and a future at the top of Hollywood. Then he made one decision that many believe changed his career forever. He agreed to star in Sound of Freedom, a film inspired by the story of Tim Ballard, a former federal agent who left his job to fight child trafficking networks in Latin America. During filming, Caviezel reportedly began asking difficult questions about the reality of trafficking operations and the kinds of crimes happening behind the scenes. According to interviews he later gave, that was the moment he realized how dark the subject truly was.
And I was asking about the movie, and I asked him about that one particular part where everybody's talking, and they all cried out Epstein Island. And I went, oh, okay. Now I understand what we're up against.
Wow.
Epstein Island isn't the only...
You would expect Hollywood studios to rush toward a movie focused on protecting children from trafficking. You would think every major executive would immediately support a project with a message like that. But according to the people involved with the film, the exact opposite happened. Studios reportedly avoided the project completely. Investors became nervous. Distributors backed away. The message spreading through Hollywood was simple: stay away from this movie. Do not produce it. Do not finance it. Do not distribute it. And do not let yourself be publicly connected to it.
From Rupert Murdoch, from Fox, to every studio. Look, if you touch this thing, you will be out, you will be done. You'll be finished in 3 years.
Stop for a second and think about what he was actually saying. According to Jim Caviezel, one of the most powerful forces in the entertainment industry allegedly sent a message throughout Hollywood that anyone connected to a movie about rescuing trafficked children would be professionally destroyed within a few years. That was the accusation, and Hollywood's response was not to directly challenge the claim. Instead, many critics mocked him, labeled him a conspiracy theorist, and slowly pushed him further outside the mainstream industry. Suddenly, the phone stopped ringing, but despite all of that, Sound of Freedom still reached theaters without support from any major Hollywood studio. The film was made on a fraction of the budget normally used for blockbuster productions, yet it earned more than $250 million worldwide at the box office. The audience showed up, the industry did not, and while Caviezel was being publicly criticized for speaking out, and while Ricky Gervais kept throwing uncomfortable truths into award show monologues, another figure in Hollywood was sitting at the absolute peak of her power. She hosted one of the most successful daytime television programs in America. Her entire public image revolved around one simple message: be kind. That person was Ellen DeGeneres. You could not watch 5 minutes of her show without hearing that phrase. It was printed on merchandise, repeated in interviews, and built directly into the identity of the program itself. She became America's daytime sweetheart, the smiling television host dancing into millions of living rooms every afternoon, encouraging people to treat each other better. Then, in 2020, everything changed. Dozens of former employees spoke to reporters about what they claimed was happening behind the scenes. According to their accounts, the atmosphere described off-camera was completely different from the image presented on television. One of those people was producer Hedda Muscat, who had worked closely with Ellen for years.
Ellen DeGeneres feeling the heat as more employees, past and present, from her show say that they were working in a toxic environment. Some Hollywood actors also speaking out against the talk show host now.
Toxic, phony, hypocrite, liar. That's what she.
Former staff members described the workplace as toxic, fearful, and emotionally exhausting. Several employees claimed they constantly felt pressured to walk on eggshells while working behind the scenes of what many viewers considered the happiest show on television. The contrast shocked audiences. This was the same daytime program that spent years telling America to be kind. Following the accusations, Warner Bros. Discovery launched an internal investigation into the workplace culture surrounding the show. Reports eventually led to the removal of several senior producers after allegations ranging from misconduct to discrimination and intimidation surfaced publicly. In September 2020, Ellen DeGeneres addressed the controversy during the opening of her new season, admitting that problems had existed behind the scenes and promising changes moving forward.
Truth is, I am that person that you see on TV. I am also a lot of other things. Sometimes I get sad, I get mad, I get anxious, I get frustrated, I get impatient, and I am working on all of.
To many critics and former employees, the apology felt incomplete. Some believed it acknowledged the controversy without fully addressing the deeper accusations being made publicly. Several former staff members openly rejected the apology and claimed the toxic culture had existed for years. According to interviews given at the time, many employees said they had been afraid to speak up while the show remained one of the most powerful brands in daytime television. The Ellen DeGeneres Show officially ended in May 2022 after a 19-year run. After the show ended, comedian Cat Williams publicly suggested that major television empires do not usually collapse without serious issues happening behind the scenes. His comments added even more speculation and online discussion around the show's sudden ending. Then, over the following months, events connected to Ellen's circle became the subject of intense internet attention and conspiracy theories. In August 2022, Anne Heche, who previously dated Ellen DeGeneres from 1997 to 2000, died following a devastating car crash in Los Angeles. At the time, their relationship had been one of the most talked about celebrity couples in America, and Heche had previously spoken publicly about how going public with the relationship affected her career. Opportunities in Hollywood security footage from the day of the accident showed her vehicle speeding through a residential neighborhood before crashing into a home and bursting into flames. She suffered severe burns and smoke inhalation injuries before later being declared legally dead. After the crash, clips and footage related to the incident spread rapidly across the internet, fueling endless speculation and unanswered questions online.
Ellen was far from nice. We're out there for years. What was your reaction to the toxic workplace controversy?
I felt that it was in the hands of the people who needed to speak their truth. I hadn't spoken to Ellen in years, and I feel that the stories that need to be listened to are being told.
Did the stuff about her being emotionally abusive to her staff ring true to you?
Emotionally abusive is a container for our actions that we've not healed. And unfortunately, the abusive environment was something that I understood.
Then, just 4 months later, tragedy struck again. On December 13, 2022, Stephen Twitch Boss, the longtime DJ and executive producer of The Ellen DeGeneres Show, was found dead in a hotel room from what authorities ruled a self-inflicted gunshot wound to millions of viewers. Twitch represented the energy and positivity of Ellen's entire Be Kind image. He was constantly smiling, dancing, laughing, and bringing excitement to the show. To the public, he seemed like one of the happiest people on television. His wife, Allison Holker, later told reporters that nobody close to him saw warning signs beforehand. In interviews, she described him as someone who always tried to stay strong for everyone around him. Family members expressed similar shock. According to public interviews, relatives said he had seemed completely normal in the days leading up to his death, making the tragedy even harder for them to understand. Then, in early 2025, new claims surfaced that brought the story back into headlines. Once again, in an interview, Allison Holker revealed that after his death, she allegedly discovered hidden boxes containing drugs inside their home. She described the discovery as deeply disturbing and claimed she had no idea he had been struggling privately. Two people closely connected to Ellen gone within months of each other. Both deaths officially ruled on by authorities, and yet, online speculation continued growing as people searched for answers and patterns where investigators said there was no evidence of foul play.
I thought, who do I pander to? The 200 richest people in the room, or the 200 million people watching at home who aren't winning awards, who aren't millionaires? And it was a no-brainer. I was doing it.
For decades, Tom Hanks has been viewed as one of the most respected and trusted figures in Hollywood. He became known as America's Dad, starring in beloved films like Forrest Gump, voicing Woody in Toy Story, and portraying heroic real life. Figures in movies like Sully. His career was built around playing honorable, emotional, and deeply human characters. Combined with his long marriage and clean public image, many fans viewed him as one of the most wholesome stars in the industry. But Hollywood has always been an industry built heavily around image and reputation, and internet speculation often targets the people with the most carefully protected public personas. As Epstein documents and old emails resurfaced online, conspiracy theorists began searching for any connection they could tie to famous names. One frequently discussed detail involved reports that Tom Hanks's name appeared in a 2013 email connected to Epstein's network. However, there has never been verified evidence publicly linking Hanks to Epstein's criminal activities or proving involvement in any illegal conduct. That distinction is extremely important. A name appearing in an email, social setting, or contact list is not the same thing as evidence of a crime. But in the world of internet conspiracy theories, even loose associations are often turned into massive narratives that spread far beyond the facts themselves.